Good morning, everybody. I'm Patrick Duffy, and I'm very excited to be back in the beautiful Nasdaq studios overlooking Times Square in New York City. Today is part 13 of our series Future Thinker that runs in tandem with Design Pavilion, an annual event celebrating design and architecture in the heart of New York City's Times Square during the NYC by Design Festival. Our series explores how agents of change, disruptors, and leaders in the design industry will shape tomorrow and what they're doing today to make a massive positive impact on people and planet. My next guest leads the U.S. division of an international, integrated, and independent accounting firm specializing in audit, accountancy, advisory, tax and legal services, and more. The group, who has over 23,000 employees in 89 countries, has a major focus on long-term sustainable development and growth for their clients. Their unique approach is designed to leverage a global talent pool of experts and assist organizations of all sizes to become people and planet positive, from privately owned businesses to large multinational corporations. It's my pleasure to welcome Stuart Nussbaum and Nathalie Gilet of Mazars USA. I'm so excited to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome to Nasdaq Studios.
Yeah, it's such a great place.
Yeah. So, okay, you guys are an international accounting tax firm. What's your interest in sustainability? Why don't we start there? Stuart? Nathalie?
Sure.
Sorry.
No worries.
I'm just so excited to dive right in.
Yeah. No, but and it's true that it can come across as very surprising because you're maybe thinking, well, accountability, what does it have to do with sustainability? Well, the thing is that we're a service provider and we're very interested in anything that brings value to our clients. And we just happen to believe that sustainability does exactly that because, well, environmental and social concerns are growing in our society. Mm-hmm. So when a company begins to include environmental and social considerations in its operations, it's basically proving that it cares about its customers' expectations and concerns, which is great for its relationships. And it's also a great way to have a new dialogue with stakeholders. And we also very much believe that it's a new way of looking at their operation, which means that it covers more risks and threats and is able to manage them better. And then, well, finally, we believe it's also a new vision of themselves, which is a great driver for innovation. And so because, as you said, we're a global service company provider, we've seen how this plays out in different parts of the world, and especially in Europe, where there's a lot of regulation driving sustainability practices within companies. And looking at how it goes over there, because with this drive there's more experience and more feedback on how it works out, we're just seeing how it's a major source of valuable transformation for companies.
That's very interesting.
You know, Patrick, even without major regulation here in the U.S., we see it's really in a company's best interest to be sustainable and to offer sustainable products. So give you an example. First of all, we're all hearing about consumers want this. They're demanding it. You know, there's been a lot of studies out there asking consumers, would you pay more for a product that's sustainable? And you know, most notably the Nielsen studies that's saying 66% have said they've been willing to pay more. And in that group, it comes out to about 73% with regard to millennials. You also have companies like Unilever, they're saying that their sustainable products are selling 30% faster than many of their other products. So we're seeing it from the consumers. The other side we see in the financial world, investors. Investors are looking to invest in these sustainable companies. Specifically, they're looking at, as part of their portfolio analysis. You know, they look at risk mitigation. They look at companies that have adopted sustainable practices are those companies that are forward thinkers, they're working with operational efficiencies, and they're very resilient. So, Patrick, the bottom line is that sustainability helps a company's bottom line.
I love to hear that. I love to, because you know I'm a big sustainability fan myself. So so all these stats and what is amazing, but how are you guys actually helping? What are you guys doing?
Okay. Well, so we have a range of services that our clients can ask us to help them with at different stages of their project's lifecycle. So for example, we can help a company structure and set up a sustainability strategy that's best suited to its activities, its culture, but also the pace at which it wants to grow on sustainability.
Right.
Another example is that we can help companies find the funds and finances for their sustainability projects and help them, for example, leverage tax credits or grants or incentives.
That's interesting.
Or even
That's amazing.
And there's even a whole branch of finance today that banks are developing that are sustainability-oriented loans, and that it's a very fast-growing and very interesting activity going on.
So you guys actually will connect them or help them help them. That's a service that you provide.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
We
incredible.
help them identify every area that they can use and leverage to finance and offset their costs in sustainability.
That's
basically.
amazing.
And there's a lot going on.
And you do that all over the world. Wow.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Also, for us to be able to advise our clients, we have to really be and entertain thought leadership quite a bit. So that's why we like to be part of certain events like the Impact Summit that was here, here at Nasdaq, put on by Fashion Exchange and Design Pavilion. That was a great opportunity. We got to be part of a panel with some really innovative companies like Fashion Revolution, Fashion for Freedom, part of those are companies that are really trying to make an impact by being, advocating, and coming up with just new innovative solutions to solving some of the sustainable issues that are here. We also part of many other programs, such as back in November, there was the Remote Conference in California, put together a lot of the industry leaders, as well as the French American Chamber of Commerce has a couple of events that we've been a part of. And really by being an international firm, we're really able to see what's going on throughout the world, and we're able to kind of get together, all of our offices together, to put together some interesting studies on sustainability that we can share with everybody.
It's amazing. And you've been, since we're talking a little bit more about fashion, why is it important for fashion companies to look towards sustainability, especially with clients that you're looking to help service or clients that you may already have?
So Patrick, as you probably know, with fashion, it's all about the name, and so many designers attach their name to the brand and stuff like that. So you really could look at it from two sides. First is the negative, okay? You don't want something where there's something that comes out that could really impact your brand negatively. Unfortunately, we hear of stories where you have manufacturing facilities overseas that collapse. You could have, things like that. You can have where a company is burning product because they just don't want that brand out in areas that they don't want it to be available, and then, you have retailers who are out there sometimes doing, checks, on the brands to see are they, being manufactured in facilities that are using child labor. So you really have to worry about that because you could really be in trouble overnight. And then from the positive side, you want your brand to be associated with the fact that you're listening to your customers, you're really proactive and really thinking cutting edge in terms of what these customers want, and that you have a positive outlook on sustainability for your brand.
That's amazing. And how, again, so can you give us an example of a fashion brand? You don't have to say the name, or you can if you'd like, but can you give us an example of some of the things that you've done with the fashion brand so people can understand what you're...
Well, certainly everybody knows about, we're not actually working with them, but Eileen Fisher and a lot of things that she's doing. And she's really ahead of so many companies with respect to that, with her Renew and buying back garments and then taking the garments and making them into art, into other products and stuff like that. And it's things like that that we are consulting with our with our companies of how to become more sustainable and do things like that.
That's amazing. Okay, so where does with this unique approach that you guys have, where does it start when a company comes to work with you and they want to start the sustainability consultancy, or they want to work with Mazars Global, or where does it start?
Okay, well, so the first thing to consider is that sustainability is very, very broad. It's a huge topic. I mean, I don't know if everyone who's listening is familiar with what it is, but it's basically considering environmental factors and social factors and ethics and human rights, and that's a lot to be working on, and companies cannot do everything at once because it's such a huge amount of work. So the first step that we do with them is to help them identify which are the major areas on which they want to work, what's most important to them, where are their major risks and opportunities in the area. And then, once they have that, they should really be setting goals and defining a strategy to get there. And then, they should implement that strategy in their day-to-day operations. And that's both that's a huge amount of work, but it's also a very exciting amount of work because it touches on the company's culture and the company's management procedures. So that's a very interesting part of the work. They should also very much be setting up a reporting system so that they have the figures both to track their progress and to be able to communicate it, because that's really when they're going to get all the benefits, when they get the message out that they have an engagement and that they're making progress. That's really when the public's going to answer and they're going to get benefits from that on their reputation. And then, once, when they have that work that's being done, it's basically about beginning all over again, because it's a very iterative process, and it's really much about continuous improvement, because it's almost impossible to be perfect all at once.
Yeah.
So they really should begin by steps that are feasible, and then once they get to the first step, then repeat all over again to improve continuously.
We always say, if you want to get started, get passionate about it. That's
Yes,
why
yes,
you
yes.
You need the buy-in from the CEO, from the owners of the company, because if you really want to effectuate change and have some type of lasting effect, then the whole company has to come together on this, and they have to rally behind the leaders of the company.
Amazing. So I love to hear that you guys are doing this. It's incredible. What's next after, like, what are you guys looking forward to? What's next for you?
Well, we're actually very excited to be working with companies here in the US on that area, because there's not much regulation in the US. So it's very much an open playing field for companies. They have the power and the ability to define what they want to be, how they want to work on that topic, and to really set a trend. So we're really looking forward to work with companies who, they want to be pioneers, they want to innovate, they want to shape the agenda and transform their industry. So that's really something we're looking forward to.
I was looking at the website yesterday, and you guys handle so many different areas and so many different types of clients, like from aviation to. Can you share a little bit about the span of industries that you work with, and just on a general note?
Yeah, sure. Well, we call them market segments, and
Sure.
basically we work, and this is why we're experts in various different industries. Manufacturing, distribution, real estate, media are some of our biggest not-for-profits as well, and so therefore we're able to bring specific expertise to those companies by the fact that we practice in those areas mostly. So not necessarily generalists, but being able to be there and be able to understand what are the issues that these companies are facing, and therefore we can have solutions.
It's amazing when I was looking at the span of clients that you work with, and it's great that they all are coming to you, and from what I know about Mazars Global is that you really have a personal relationship with everybody that you work with, and it's kind of a little bit of cross-pollination. So you're...
Well, Patrick, we look to be the trusted advisor for these companies, and we understand that a business is really just an extension of a person's life. It's where they spend many of their hours. So we're trying to help them realize their business goals, and as well as their personal goals as well.
A little bit about going back to my description, let's talk about the size of companies that you work with. So you work on a more intimate level with smaller companies to multinationals. Can you explain that a little bit, and like how that works within the confines of sustainability? Like, do you have to be a $30 million company to work with Mazars Global, or?
Well, no, you really don't have to.
Okay.
So the bottom line is that we strive to have a personal relationships with our clients, and we strive to always be at their level, and to help them tailor their own strategies, and really work with them on specific services. We don't have one broad
Blanket,
service.
yeah.
We're just applying the same to everyone. We really work with our customers to tailor it to their very specific needs. And that means that we're able to work with smaller companies, very local or national companies, but also with bigger companies. And our big asset is that we're a multinational company. So if you have an operation here in the US that has subsidiaries in, let's say, in France or in China or in the UK, we're able to both work with them on a local level with our American teams, but also coordinate with our local teams in different countries.
That's great.
To bring them the best service that's both global and very local, suited to their needs in every area.
That's great, because obviously small companies and multinationals have a different set of issues, whether it's a supply chain or being able to move a sustainability program forward. So that's incredible that you can work within that. So there's so many more questions I want to ask you, but unfortunately we're out of time. So you're going to have to come back and join me again.
Okay.
Yeah, with
I want to
pleasure.
say thank you so much for
thank you.
letting us know. How
Thank
can
you.
people get in contact with with you guys at Mazars Global? Is there a website that people can you share?
Sure. We have a website, www.mazarsusa.com.
Okay.
So you can go on the website, you can learn all about our different service offerings, about our different industries, and come give us a call. We'd love to help.
I'll give you their private phone number. I'm kidding. Thank you guys for coming to join us today at Nasdaq in the Future Thinker. And I'm so excited to have Stuart and Nathalie with us, and we'll see you next time.